The rain had been falling for hours when Emily pulled her old Chevy into the cracked driveway of the Whitmore house. The mansion stood at the edge of the small Vermont town, wrapped in fog like a sleeping beast. Her aunt had left her this property, an inheritance she neither wanted nor understood. As she stepped out, the air felt heavy, almost aware of her presence. The front door creaked open with a groan that echoed down the long hallway. Dust floated in the flashlight beam as Emily whispered, "Hello?" only to be answered by silence. The place smelled of old paper and damp wood, a scent that brought with it a strange nostalgia she couldn't place. In the living room, the portrait of a woman hung crookedly above the fireplace. The woman's eyes, sharp, lifelike, seemed to follow her every move. Beneath it, a half-burned candle sat melted into the mantel as if it had been recently lit. Emily frowned. The house had been empty for 20 years, hadn't it? She wandered upstairs, the floorboards creaking under each cautious step. In one of the bedrooms, she found a diary resting on the windowsill, its pages yellowed but untouched by dust. The first line read, "If someone finds this, the house has chosen you." Her heart raced as thunder rolled outside. A sudden thud came from downstairs, followed by the sound of a door slamming shut. Emily froze. She hadn't left any doors open. Gripping the diary, she whispered shakily, "Hello? Who's there?" No answer, only the faint sound of breathing, coming from the dark hallway behind her. Outside, the rain kept falling. Inside, the house seemed to wake. Emily didn't turn around. Every instinct screamed at her to run, but her feet stayed glued to the floor. The breathing grew louder, heavier, as if whoever or whatever it was stood inches behind her. Summoning her courage, she spun around, flashlight raised. The hallway was empty. Only shadows stretched across the peeling wallpaper. Her pulse thundered as she backed into the bedroom again. The diary trembled in her hands. She turned to the next page. "The house remembers." That was all it said, written in faded ink that looked disturbingly fresh. Lightning flashed through the window, illuminating something carved into the wooden floor, a circle of strange symbols Emily hadn't noticed before. She crouched down to touch it. The moment her fingers brushed the carvings, the air turned cold, and every light in the house flickered off. Darkness swallowed her whole. Then, a woman's voice whispered close to her ear, "You shouldn't have come back." Emily screamed, stumbling backward until she hit the wall. The flashlight flickered weakly, revealing a reflection in the dusty mirror across the room. A pale woman stood behind her, dressed in an old-fashioned gown, her eyes hollow yet pleading. When Emily turned, the woman was gone. The mirror, however, was no longer showing her reflection. It showed the same room, but cleaner, brighter, as if it were decades in the past. A man appeared in the mirror's world, shouting something she couldn't hear, and then dragging the same woman away. Emily pressed her palm against the glass, trembling. The image shattered instantly, leaving spiderweb cracks across the surface. From downstairs came a familiar voice calling her name, a voice that sounded exactly like her aunt's. But her aunt had been dead for 3 years. Emily's breath caught in her throat. Her aunt's voice echoed again from below, soft and trembling. "Emily, come down, sweetheart." The words rolled through the empty halls like smoke, wrapping around her mind. Against all reason, she felt her legs moving on their own, guiding her toward the stairs. Each step creaked as if warning her to turn back. When she reached the bottom, the lights flickered to life for the first time. The living room glowed with a warm amber hue, and the air smelled faintly of lavender, her aunt's favorite scent. "Aunt Rose," Emily whispered, her voice breaking. Then she saw her, a figure standing by the fireplace, facing away. Her gray hair, the same floral dress. Everything looked just as Emily remembered. "It's really you?" Emily said, stepping closer. The figure didn't answer. Instead, it slowly turned. The face was wrong, distorted, melting like candle wax, eyes black and endless. The mouth stretched too wide as it whispered, "The house remembers." Emily screamed and stumbled backward. The walls pulsed, pictures twisting and warping into grotesque shapes. The fire roared to life, spilling embers across the floor. Above the crackling sound, she heard whispers, hundreds of them, chanting something she couldn't understand. Desperate, she grabbed the diary again. A new line had appeared on the page. To leave, return what was taken. "What does that mean?" she cried out, but the house only groaned in response. The floorboards split open beneath her feet, revealing darkness that seemed alive. A cold wind dragged at her hair and clothes, pulling her toward the void. She clutched the edge of the broken floor, screaming for help. Just before losing her grip, she saw it. The same pale woman from the mirror, reaching out her hand. Emily grabbed the woman's hand without thinking. It felt icy, almost weightless, yet strong enough to pull her out of the collapsing floor. Gasping, she stumbled backward as the hole sealed itself shut, boards sliding back into place like nothing had happened. The house went silent again, except for the faint ticking of an unseen clock. The pale woman stood before her now, closer, clearer. Her eyes shimmered like pools of glass. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered. "It wants you." Emily's voice trembled. "What is this place? What do you mean, it?" The woman looked around nervously, as if afraid the walls could hear. "This house feeds on memory. It keeps what it loves and destroys what it hates. Your aunt tried to stop it once. She failed." Emily's heart pounded. "Then tell me how to end it." The woman pointed to the diary. "That book isn't a story. It's a binding. Your aunt wrote it to keep the house asleep, but when you opened it, you woke it." Emily's stomach dropped. "So that's what was taken? Her peace?" The woman nodded. "You must return it. Burn the book before midnight, or you'll become part of it too." A violent tremor shook the house. The woman's form flickered like static, her voice turning distant. "Hurry! It's watching!" The lights exploded one by one, plunging Emily into darkness. She bolted toward the front door, clutching the diary. But when she turned the knob, it didn't budge. The wood beneath her fingers began to breathe, rising and falling like a living thing. Then came the voice again, low and guttural from every wall and every shadow. "You can to burn what you already belong to." Emily's scream was swallowed by the house itself. The walls pulsed, the air thick with a heartbeat that wasn't hers. She stumbled backward, clutching the diary as the voice echoed, "You belong here now." But deep inside, something in her refused to surrender. She ran toward the kitchen, slamming drawers, searching for anything to burn with. The storm outside raged harder, lightning flashing through the windows like camera flashes from another world. Finally, she found an old lighter on the counter, her aunt's initials engraved on its side. Her hands trembled as she flicked it on. The flame struggled, then steadied. She opened the diary to the last page. New words appeared as if written by invisible hands. "End it where it began." She froze, then looked toward the fireplace in the living room, the same place she'd first seen the portrait. The house moaned in protest as she approached. Shadows slithered along the walls, whispering her name. Emily threw the diary into the flames. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the entire house shuddered violently. The portrait screamed, an ear-splitting human sound as fire roared upward, devouring everything. The pale woman appeared once more, her face calm now. "You've set us free," she said softly. "Thank you." Her form dissolved into ash, carried away by the rising heat. Emily fell to her knees as the roof cracked open, rain pouring through. The fire hissed, steam rising like ghosts into the air. When the last ember died, the silence that followed was absolute. Morning came. The Whitmore house was nothing but ruins, smoke curling into the gray sky. Emily stood in the rain, bruised, trembling, but alive. Behind her, buried in the ashes, something faintly pulsed once more. The house had never truly died.